A new life in Canada. Maria was sitting at her desk in São Paulo, looking at pictures of Vancouver on her computer screen. She had been working at the same company for 5 years, but something was missing in her life. Every day she dreamed about studying abroad and learning English properly. Vancouver's beautiful mountains and ocean views made her heart beat faster every time she saw them. Last week, she had received an unexpected email from Vancouver University. They were offering a special program for international students, and the courses would start in 3 months. Maria's hands were shaking when she opened the email. She read it 5 times to make sure she understood everything correctly. That evening, when Maria got home, she couldn't stop thinking about the opportunity. She knew this could change her life forever. She picked up her phone and called her sister Anna, who had always been her best friend and supporter. "Anna, I need to tell you something important," Maria said nervously. "What is it, Maria?" "You sound different," Anna replied, concern evident in her voice. Maria took a deep breath and explained everything about the program in Vancouver. She told Anna about the university, the courses, and her dreams of learning English in Canada. When she finished speaking, there was silence on the other end of the line. "Vancouver is very far, Maria," Anna finally said. "Are you sure about this? What about your job, your apartment, your life here?" "I've never been more sure about anything," Maria responded firmly. "I know it won't be easy, but I need to try. I don't want to look back in 10 years and regret not taking this chance." Anna was quiet for another moment before saying, "Then I will help you. We will make this happen together." That night, Maria couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about how her life would change. She imagined walking through Vancouver's streets, studying at the university, and making friends from all over the world. Tomorrow, she would start planning everything. This was going to be the biggest adventure of her life. The next few weeks were the busiest of Maria's life. She started by applying to the program, which was more complicated than she had expected. There were many forms to fill out, and she needed to write an essay about why she wanted to study in Vancouver. She spent 3 days working on the essay, making sure every word was perfect. Maria also had to take an English test to prove she could study in Canada. She studied every night after work, often staying up until midnight. The test was difficult, but she passed it. When she got her results, she cried with happiness. The next challenge was getting a visa. Maria spent hours collecting all the necessary documents. She needed bank statements, letters from her employer, and many other papers. The day of her visa interview at the Canadian Embassy was particularly stressful. "Why do you want to study in Canada?" the visa officer asked. Maria's heart was racing, but she remembered to speak slowly and clearly. "I want to improve my English and learn about different cultures," she explained. "The program at Vancouver University is perfect for what I need, and I will return to Brazil with new skills for my career." 2 weeks later, Maria received her passport with the student visa inside. She couldn't believe it was really happening. That evening, she went to dinner with Anna to celebrate. "I'm so proud of you," Anna said, raising her glass. "You're the bravest person I know." As the departure date got closer, Maria had to make many difficult decisions. She gave notice at her job, and her colleagues organized a surprise farewell party. Her boss gave a speech that made everyone cry. "Maria has been one of our best employees," he said. "We will miss her greatly, but we know she will do amazing things in Canada." Packing was another challenge. Vancouver's weather would be very different from São Paulo's. Maria and Anna spent a whole weekend shopping for warm clothes. They bought sweaters, rain boots, and a thick winter coat. Maria had never owned such warm clothes before. The hardest part was packing her personal belongings. She couldn't take everything, so she had to choose carefully. Each item brought back memories: the photo album from her college years, the coffee mug her mother had given her, her favorite books. Some things would stay in storage at Anna's house. The night before her flight, Maria's family gathered for a final dinner. Her mother had cooked all her favorite dishes. Everyone tried to be cheerful, but Maria could see tears in her mother's eyes. "Promise you'll call us every week," her mother said, hugging her tightly. "I promise, Mom," Maria replied, "and I'll be back for Christmas." That night, Maria lay in her bed for the last time, looking at her empty room. Tomorrow, everything would change. She felt scared, but excited. She knew this was the right decision. The flight to Vancouver was long. Maria watched 3 movies and tried to sleep, but she was too excited. When the plane finally landed, she looked out the window and saw mountains covered in snow. It was nothing like São Paulo. Getting through immigration took almost 2 hours. The officer asked many questions, but Maria was prepared. She showed her university acceptance letter, her visa, and explained her plans clearly. Outside the airport, Maria took her first breath of Vancouver air. It was cold and clean. She took a taxi to her new home, a small furnished apartment she had rented online. The building was older than it had looked in the pictures, but the apartment was clean and cozy. Her neighbor, Sarah, knocked on her door that evening. "I saw you moving in," she said with a friendly smile. "Would you like to have dinner? I made too much pasta." Maria was grateful for the invitation. She was hungry and tired, and the thought of cooking was overwhelming. Sarah's apartment was warm and inviting, with plants everywhere. Over dinner, Sarah told her about life in Vancouver and gave her tips about the city. "The winter will be hard at first," Sarah warned, "but you'll get used to it, and spring here is beautiful." Maria's first week in Vancouver was full of surprises. She got lost twice trying to find the grocery store. The money looked strange to her, and she kept converting prices to rials in her head. Everything seemed expensive. Her first day at the university was overwhelming. There were students from all over the world, speaking many different languages. In her English class, she met June from Korea, Ahmed from Saudi Arabia, and Isabella from Mexico. They were all nervous about studying in English. The classes were harder than Maria had expected. Sometimes the teachers spoke too fast, and she couldn't understand everything. She spent hours each night reviewing her notes and doing homework. Often she felt frustrated and wondered if she had made a mistake. One rainy afternoon, while struggling with a difficult assignment, Maria called Anna in tears. "I can't do this," she sobbed. "My English is terrible. I don't understand anything." "Remember your first week at your job in São Paulo?" Anna asked. "You felt the same way, but you learned and you became one of their best employees. This is just the beginning, Maria. Give yourself time." Anna's words helped Maria feel better. The next day, she asked her teacher for extra help. The teacher was very understanding and suggested some study groups. Maria joined a group with Jun and Isabella, and they started meeting every afternoon in the library. As weeks passed, life in Vancouver became easier. Maria's English improved quickly, and she started to understand more in her classes. She made friends with her study group, and they often explored the city together on weekends. One Saturday, they visited Stanley Park. The trees were enormous, and the ocean view was breathtaking. Maria took many pictures to send to her family. She could finally appreciate Vancouver's beauty without feeling overwhelmed by everything new. Sarah, her neighbor, introduced her to a Brazilian community in Vancouver. They met every month for dinner, sharing food and stories from home. It helped Maria feel less homesick. but she was proud that she didn't need to speak Portuguese all the time anymore. 3 months after arriving, Maria received her first report card. She had passed all her classes with good grades. That evening, she called her family on video chat to share the news. Her mother cried with happiness, and her father couldn't stop smiling. "I knew you could do it," Anna said. "Are you still scared?" Maria thought about it for a moment. "No," she replied. "I'm not scared anymore. Vancouver feels like home now." That night, Maria stood by her window, looking at the city lights. So much had changed since that day she first saw the email from Vancouver University. She had faced many challenges, but she had overcome them all. She was stronger now, more confident. Tomorrow, she would start planning her next term's classes. She had big dreams for her future in Vancouver, and now she knew she could make them come true.
Do you want to follow new stories and stay up to date with all the releases? Subscribe to the channel, like, and leave a comment so I'll know you're enjoying it.